You don't want those pins to be not covered because that's the most important part. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a build, and this is going to be a budget build. You can call it a freestyle, it's a racing frame, whatever you want to call it. But the whole point of this build is to get a sick budget build to be waterproof, because winter is coming, and this is going to be my waterproof test quad, and hopefully, you know, it's going to be pretty sweet. So I've been doing a lot of thinking and checking what components would work best for this. Now, let's go over some of the things. First of all, you're going to need the UFO FPV. Now, why did I choose this UFO FPV? One, it's very cheap. It's 12 bucks or 12 and a half bucks. So it's very cheap. Another thing that I really liked about this is the connector type is not some type of connector. So this is soldered on, so we can waterproof this. So it's very difficult to waterproof connectors unless you have Corrosion X, but we're not going to be using Corrosion X. However, you're going to need this, and I'll leave a link to this down below. This is only $11, so this is going to be pretty sweet. So this is what we're going to be using to waterproof our quad. It's conformal coating, and this is like modified, which is basically once we place it on and you get a UV light. I got this guy from Banggood. I just can't find battery. I just need one more battery. And we can actually check if we missed a spot. So this is going to be pretty sweet. This will come in handy. I'll leave a link down below with this. But this does not include the whole budget build. This is not in the price of this, neither is the conformal coating. That's like $3, $4, so it just doesn't even matter really. Alright, so for VTX we're going to be using this. This is a very good one. It's a switching VTX. It's going to be more than enough. It takes 7 to 24 volt, which is perfect because we don't have a regulator on this one, but it does have filtering, so this is going to be pretty sweet. So that's good on that part. So this is going to be our main guy for our VTX and waterproofing, because also it's stackable and it's going to make things a lot easier for everyone. So this is what we'll be using for VTX. Now, for flight controller, I've been thinking a lot about flight controllers because, as you know, like I said before, we cannot waterproof connectors easily. And if you do, you probably won't be able to use them anymore. So the best two choices I had was either the Sky Zone and ripping off its connectors, because it has solder points by each of its connectors, or the F4 Flame. Now, I know the F4 Flame is a good flight controller. I do love it. It has that perfect gyro, which is the MPU 6000, and it does have some filtration on the VTX pads, which is absolutely sweet. However, one drawback is the pads are a bit small, so you have to be just a bit very careful, because the pads are kind of small here, and so they're going to be a little bit difficult to solder maybe if you're new, but you know, you have to start somewhere. So we're going to be using this, the F4 Flame. It's around 34 bucks, this one. So this is going to be pretty sweet. We're going to be able to actually waterproof this whole thing, and you can either use Corrosion X, but I'm going to rip the USB off, and then I'll show you how to make an adapter later on for this. So this is what we're going to be using for flight controller. For camera, I'm going to be using this one. This is the foxeer V2, but I would recommend you use the Chinese clone. I'm going to leave a link to the Chinese clone down below. I myself would have also used the Chinese clone, but they're still on the way, and they still have not arrived. But I really want to get this going and to actually get it tested. So I'm going to be using this camera. It's the same exact thing. Nothing's going to be different. The connectors are the same exact thing, just absolutely same. So that's for camera. For ESCs, now I found these ESCs and I really did like them from testing. They weren't nothing spectacular, they were just an average old ESC. But what's super awesome about this, they do have some nice fat capacitors. There is some filtration. They're not super noisy, they're tiny as well, and they also are BL-Heli32 and do provide a telemetry pad. So this is going to be pretty sweet. This is going to be pretty good. And of course, the main concept was to have something super cheap, just in case, you know, if you missed a spot and it burned out on you. So this is only $11. Each is $11. So I believe this is going to be a good one. Now for motors. Motors, I picked up the Racerstar Fire Edition. This is the new one. However, in the links down below, I'm going to be posting the non-Fire Edition, the 2306S 2400 kV version, because I have tested those. I have them on 2 quads, and they've been just absolutely phenomenal. So this is going to be my test for these. You can do the same thing as me and go with this. This is like $1 each. Just $1 more expensive for each motor. So I'll leave a link to this also down below. And plus they look pretty sexy. So this is going to be my test for these guys anyways here. Now for receiver. Now if you're new here, don't buy this receiver, because this is a part of a series where I'm gonna get you started for exactly $300. This quad, goggles, transmitter. The transmitter does come with this receiver, and I'm gonna just be doing the whole series of how to get completely set up, and for 300 bucks with even a dual way charger with balance charging, as well as, you know, through the XT60 connector charging, and 2 infinity graphene batteries, all for $300. So it's gonna be pretty sweet. It's gonna be pretty insane. Now I'm waiting on the charger to come in. I received the transmitters, which is gonna be the FlySky i6X. Make sure you get the X, because that'll save you a headache if you're new here. But anyways, let's continue on. So what we're gonna do here is I'm actually gonna find out the pin out for these to see which one is iBus, ground, and power, and we're gonna rip this connector off, and we're gonna solder the wires on here, and we're gonna waterproof this baby. And I do recommend we add some tape around it, because I don't know how waterproof this will be here. So that's something very important. What else do we have here? Oh yeah, for frame I chose Real AC X210 because it's like $23. This is the 4mm version, but if I had to buy one now, I would have bought the 3mm one. It reduces its weight. Second of all, it's not going to be as strong, but 3mm is still pretty strong, and it's like a couple bucks cheaper. But if you want, you can go with the 4mm like I did here. It's totally fine. It does not make a difference. It's the same exact thing. And yeah, well, let's get started. So what I'm thinking of doing is, what we're going to do first is we are going to work our way from the motors to the flight controller. So basically we'd set up the motors, and then we were going to solder the ESCs, and then we're just going to, that's it, that's all we're going to do here. Make sure you rip the heat shrink off, because this is very important, because we're going to begin the process of actually waterproofing them. So that's what we're going to do now. So I'm going to stick the motors on here, and we're going to rip this off and start waterproofing it and see how it goes. So I don't know how long it needs to dry. I've not checked it, but it could possibly be a while. So this might be a part 1 of the episode, and or the series. And yeah, well, let's get started. Alright guys, so first step, what I did is I completely removed the heat shrink off of one. I kept the wires exactly the same, and I am debating on either inserting a telemetry wire that we could use from the beginning or not, but I'll figure that out as we go. So what we're going to do now is, actually, there's a heatsink here. We're actually going to get rid of the heatsink. You could put it back if you want. You could put it to the side. But we need to get rid of this because we need to be able to basically waterproof it. And to remove this stuff, just be very delicate here and just start removing it. What I'm going to do is, actually, I'm going to get myself some very sharp needle nose tweezers here and just begin the process. And just be super delicate, and let's just see what's down here. Okay, I have another idea. So what I'm going to do is, I have a toothbrush here, so when I usually clean the Flux, I use it, and I'm going to grab it, and hopefully this will be good. So maybe a toothbrush will be the best here. Maybe we should, yeah, it's working the best actually. And again, just be nice and gentle. Maybe we'll put some kind of alcohol also. But yeah, I do have some alcohol here, but we're not gonna be powering this on anytime soon here. So okay, I just sprayed it with some alcohol. Hopefully that'll make it better to remove. As you can see, I've already scratched some of the board there, which is very stupid from my self, but it should be fine. But if we do burn it, that's fine. I'll just get another one. I think I got 5 just in case. So basically we have it pretty much all cleaned out, just those little parts right there. Let's see if we do it this way. Yep, so we got it all cleaned out. So yeah, just get a toothbrush and some alcohol. I got maybe like 97% alcohol. I don't know what I got here. But yeah, there we go. So that's very good. So let's just do another one from the beginning, just like this. I'm gonna grab another one real quick. And we're gonna start by removing the heat shrink here. What I like to do is I like to cut on the edges so I don't risk damaging components. And you can easily damage a component on these guys. Alright. Alright, so we're not going to do the same mistake as last time. Good thing. Oh, see, not all of them are as difficult as the first one, so depending on your luck. That's crazy, what's written in here is the same thing. It says BLHES, and this says BLHES. Awesome. Alright, so like I said, you know, you can keep these if you want. However, I'm not going to keep them. So we're just going to spray this guy. You really wanted to make sure you get everything because, you know, you really don't want to ruin them. I mean, yes, they're cheap, but still, you know, if you can not ruin it, then don't ruin it. So that's pretty clean, actually. So that was sweet. Yeah, the toothbrush and the alcohol is the best way to go. If you guys have any other suggestions, that'd be awesome. Also, you guys could tell people down in the comment section. So this is the preparation. So that's pretty sweet. So, it's going good. It seems like it has some kind of coating on it, doesn't it? Or it's wet. No, it's wet. Sorry, guys. Alright, so I'm going to do this for the other two now. And we will see what's the next step from there. Alright, guys. So next step right now is we're going to get the motors. And the motors both of them I know for sure, come with two different size screws here. So we have the 4mm, and as you can see, this is the small version of the screw. It's barely going in. So what we're gonna need is this longer one here, I believe. So let's just double check. Just barely. So I think we're gonna go with the smaller one. It's picking up a couple threads, but not all the way through. So I'm just double checking this. This is the 4mm bottom plate here. So. Yeah, that's not smart at all. Yeah, we're gonna go with the smaller screws here. So just take note. So this is how I check it usually. You could put it in first and then check it, but I usually just stick the screw in here, and then I would just align it and then see how much in. The other one was going basically straight to the coils, and we don't want that. And you should always take note of that because it's very important to do that. So this is, what is this? This is the normal. So that would go here, I believe. Yeah. Alright, so the ones with the red screw, which is, I believe, the clockwise. Does it even say here? The clockwise thread will go, you know, to the motors 1 and 4. So this is motor 1, 2, 3, 4. So the two red ones will go here, and the two black threaded ones will go here, which is the nut. You can go by the nut here. Both of them are the same, I'm pretty sure. So I'm just going to stick this in. And I'm just going to put only two screws right now, and I'm not going to super tighten it because we're going to need to remove this to start coating this guy, because that's very important now. So let me just skip over me putting two screws and I'll be right back. Alright, so I've done the first motor here, and I've removed the top plate and just kept the standoffs right now. You could remove the standoffs if you want also. So my main goal is we're going to have the motor wires about just like that long here. So what we're going to do is we're actually just going to come now and then prepare them. So about here is fine. So that's like what? If you're in the US, about like 3/4 of an inch. So this is maybe about, I don't know, a little bit, like 15 millimeters maybe. So there we go. Here's one. Here's two. And here's three. So that's awesome. Try to twist them if you can, because it'll make your life a lot easier and a lot better. Now, to be honest, I can't wait till it rains so we can actually test this guy. It's gonna be pretty sweet. We should cut a little bit more off because we came at an angle when we did this the first time. There we go. Alright. So let's grab one of the ESCs here, and we're just gonna start preparing it. Alright guys, so we're going to start preparing the ESC now. I have my solder station set to 380 degrees Celsius. 350 is fine, but I just want it on 380. It's personal preference here. Get nice shiny solder joints, which is super sweet. Alright, so let's just bring the motor now. We're gonna add solder to the wires here. Make sure no hairs are sticking out and just being absolutely retarded. So a technique that I like to use here when I'm doing these, just because I'm not holding it down, so it's better to add pressure. So right now I would just add a little bit of solder to the motor wire and then use the solder here to actually add pressure and then remove it. And this way it's it basically heated up the wire pretty well, so it does have some good solder on it. So same thing here, and then just add pressure with the solder. There we go. So let's just double check its length. That's good. So here we'll figure that out later on. So it's perfect. So let's start with our first wire here. And just solder them all straight, because we'll switch them through the BL Heli 32-bit software. It's moving. It's difficult because I have nothing holding it in place. We could redo this after we do the others now, since now it's in place. I would use tape, but I don't want to use tape now because I don't want to contaminate the ESC. So when we apply the conformal coating. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. So our first ESC is basically done here, and this is a good length here. That should be totally fine. So what we can do is we could remove this guy now. We could remove the motor and apply the conformal coating and see how quick it dries. So I'm gonna go look for a battery so we can actually test it out with the UV light. Hopefully the camera would pick everything up here, and I'll show you the technique to actually check if we got everywhere or not. Purposely, what I'm going to do is we're gonna do one side here, and then we're not gonna do the other side, so we could see how the difference would look like. So let me just rip out the motor real quick. All right, so I've gone ahead and removed the motor from the frame. So let's get the conformal coating here. Let's actually zoom out a little bit. So this is pretty insane. It's gonna be pretty fun. I don't know how to open this, but I think you just turn it and it'll pop somehow. Or it had some tape on it or something. Alright, so that's pretty nice here. Let's see which side we're gonna do first. Let's do the back side first here. Let's just do something easy. So we're gonna do the top here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it all the way on that side, on the bottom half here, just like this, and then I'm gonna leave the top half without any on it. So it's basically like nail polish. That's what it smells like, actually. Maybe we should dip even more. I think you can't go wrong with putting just a ton, just a shitload, really. Make sure it's just everywhere. Maybe the drying time will take time, but maybe we could even hit it with the hot air gun and just increase its, or maybe it'll just catch on fire. Alright, so I'm gonna do these solder points here. Just make sure they're very nice. Okay, I think that's good. It smells very good, actually. Alright, so yeah, I mean, I didn't even use anything, so it's probably do like 50 quads or more. So that's good. Alright, so I'm gonna go grab myself some batteries, and to actually check it with the UV light here. So it's gonna be pretty sweet. So let's just do that. Alright guys, so let's apply some, first give it some light here, because it's like you charge it up. I don't know if you ever had a glow in the dark toy, because I think that's how it's actually working here. So this is gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good enough. Let's turn off the lights and check it out. Okay, it's gonna be a bit difficult on camera to show you, but you could see that. Hopefully you could see that. See how it shines, and on the top here we didn't put any, so maybe I should go up like this farther. Yeah, so that's just pretty sweet. So we see everywhere we hit, and we see the places where we did not touch, so that's just pretty awesome actually. As you can see here, I think we've missed up here, and we got the table down there. So yeah, the wire. In real life, this thing just looks absolutely crazy. You can see it a lot better than you can see it on the camera here. So it's pretty awesome, actually. I'll leave a link to this LED UV light. It's like $3, $4, and it takes three AAA batteries. So like this, and let's see, you just stick this guy in. Seems good quality. Actually, it seems very good quality. I was worried that it was going to be a crappy one, but as you can see, it absolutely works perfect. It stopped working. That's just awesome. I think I just put the battery in backwards. Yeah, that's what I did. Alright, there we go. Yeah, better put it in backwards. Okay. Perfect. So, and you can kind of see it with the light on also. But it's better to turn off the lights and check it out. So, you know, the main things to cover is not, you know, the black part of the IC here and all that kind of crazy stuff. The important part to cover is basically the solder joints. Because you don't want water, you know, just leaking from here to that joint, and then that'll cause a short here. So I'm going to go ahead and continue this, but first I'm going to touch it and see. It's basically almost dry, maybe like an hour to dry, really, because it's just sticky now. So I'm actually going to apply more just to finish it up here, because this is a spot where we didn't. And I'm going to be super generous and just put as much as I really can, actually, because, you know, better be safe than sorry, I always say. Especially with these capacitors being so close to each other. I actually want it to just like dip on it. Or basically I should have gotten like something like an eyedropper, and then we just do that and just have it just slide through the bottom here. I think that would be very good. Yeah, just make sure here. It smells very good. So we got a full coating here. We're gonna hit it again with the UV light. I believe that should be more than enough, really. But anyways, this is super awesome, that whole UV light thing. Maybe we should also wait for it to dry. So let's actually just do it again real quick. Okay, where did I put the UV light here? Am I still recording? Yeah, that's good. Alright guys, so I have applied coating, I believe as perfect as possible to the top part here. I do believe it needs about an hour to dry. It's still kind of sticky. It's only been like, what, 5 minutes? It's just a bit sticky. So let's just hit it with a UV light, since this is a modified conformal coating. So hopefully the camera can do it justice here in a way. Maybe if I move up farther, yeah. So let's just bring it in closer so you guys can see. It's pretty sweet actually. I'm really liking this. Like I'm in a little party or rave or something. So we're gonna do the second ESC together also. So once this focuses, there we go. So you can see what you want to look for is the solder, you know, the solder areas and the pads, not the top of the components itself, but just the area where the pins are coming out, because that's the most important part there. And I just noticed something also, like right here I have F4 flame. This does not have any coating on it, but from the soldering, the flux, look at that. You can also see the flux where you have flux on the board. So that's also pretty sweet that we could see that through this UV light. You do have to take note, some UV lights are not as good. And this is what I was afraid of when I got this one, but this one's actually perfect. So you can't see this right here when the light's on. So it's pretty insane. So overall, it looks pretty nice. I'll try to zoom in here for you guys. We're going to do the second one together also. So this is what we want to aim for. The little gap right there, it seems like it's totally covered maybe. Maybe we need to hit a little bit right there. And on that corner. Yeah, I think that's what we need to do here. Maybe, or maybe that's just shadow. Let's just take a look. Oh no, it's a shadow. So yeah, it's the shadows. So it is pretty well coated, so that's pretty good. It's very good actually. I'm just double checking everything. So this way you can reduce the risk of actually burning this out through or shorting it out in the rain. So I really do like this, and this is going to be pretty sweet. So this is my first adventure with conformal coating. I'm going to go ahead and grab another ESC now. And, oh yeah, I forgot to show you guys one thing. Let's show you the back real quick. So check this out. If we go to the back here, some of it dipped to the other side. And you can see where it went and where it didn't go. So maybe I need to, yeah, there we go. So I know the camera is not doing it justice here, but you can see that right there. So actually, you know what, let's do the back together. That's pretty trippy. What is that here? It's like a blob of something. Okay, so we have to remove this. So make sure this thing is clean actually, guys. So yeah, I think what was left was from when I set the, what is it? When I removed the thermal tape, I believe that's what was left and was stuck right there. So let's just quickly do the other side together now. Let me just turn the lights back on here. Alright, so okay, so we have the lights on. It's pretty nice, pretty sexy. I really do like this. Alright, so, you know, the motor is going to be in the way a bit here. Alright guys, so now we're going to do the backside here. As you can see, some of it came because of the bottom here. Maybe we should do this on like a t-shirt. No, that's not a smart idea actually at all. So let's just do this again. And maybe, you know, I think an eyedropper or some kind of dropper would be very awesome also. And then you can just move it all around. It seems like it would be nice to do that actually. So I don't want a light coat, I want a super fat heavy coat. And what I'm doing is I'm just leaning this like over, and just instantly as soon as I put that, just, you know, take it out and just have it not let the extra drip back into the bottle itself. So let me just show you what I'm doing really here. Hold on a moment. I think that should be good. So what I do is basically I'm just leaning it. Instead of just going like this and coming up, no, I just quickly just take it all with all the liquid on it. So I think it's very important, just so we can get it everywhere really. And again, it smells like nail polish. It smells pretty good. I really do like the smell. I'm gonna hit the solder joints here. So in theory, actually, even if this touched your carbon, it wouldn't even short out. So, and we should not get any kind of, if we touch 2 grounds with continuity on our, what is it called? On our multimeter, we should not get any reading in theory, I believe. So let's get the UV light again. Let's just check it out. Pretty sweet actually. I do really like this. I'm just doing some visual inspection now, so if you guys want to do it with me also, that'd be awesome. There we go. The camera just did it. Oh, we missed a spot on top of this guy, but it's okay. Let's just redo it now. Maybe it just went down a little bit. So this is pretty sweet. I'm really enjoying this. I'm really liking this. So one bottle is more than enough really to do a lot, from what I see, because we're barely putting anything. maybe blowing on it makes it dry quicker. So let's just take another look, and then I'm gonna skip over the rest. And yeah, it's pretty sweet actually. So let's just do this here for you guys so you guys can see better. Okay, focus, buddy. All right. So we got that spot now that was here, and I'm very satisfied, I would say. I'm pleased. See, as you can see down here, those pins, but basically because they're big, I'm just showing you. You don't want those pins to be not covered, because that's the most important part. Who cares about the top part? As long as the pins are covered, then everything is perfect, because then that's what we really look for, to not short out, because you know the plastic up top or whatever the material is not conductive, and it's not the thing that actually ruins it for us. So just making sure I'm going over everything, double checking this whole board. It seems good, and so make sure you move it all around so the shadows don't mess with you really, because the shadows can make it seem like you don't have any on there, any coating. Alright guys, so that's the ESCs. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip over the rest, and then we will come back and see what's the next step. Alright guys, before we go to the next step, this is the other ESC I'm actually going to do right now. And I see some kind of residue here from the soldering from the manufacturer. As you can see, it's all over this place. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to try to clean it out, because I think it's very important. And again, I'm going to spray it with alcohol and use a toothbrush. I think we want it to be as contaminate free as possible. I think that's the smart way to really go about doing this. I do have some flux remover, but I'm not sure if it's even flux, so I'm just gonna make sure I get everything off here, because you know I just don't want to risk it. Make sure here we got everything off from last time. This is the first one we did with the, what is it called, the tweezers, which was a stupid, dumb, bad idea, but that's fine. Okay, so what is that here? It looks like glue or something, doesn't it? Right there. What the hell is that? Is it gone? Yeah, it's gone. See, that was a contaminant of some sort that was on it. So yeah, we need to get rid of all those contaminations. Look, see, look at that right there. You see that? Hold on, let me get the where is it? Right here. From removing the double-sided tape. You see that? Okay, so we have to be very careful, and you just like work in a clean environment. So after you clean your, whatever it's called, the double-sided thermal tape, move to a different area or use a different mat so it doesn't get contaminated. So I'm gonna have to re-hit this again later on. So I'm gonna leave the back side just not done yet. You can see here some stuff. So like I said, yeah, just take your time, and I just thought this would be a bit important to show you guys. And I'm going to begin coating this one. So you know what? Oh no, we can't just yet. We have to solder the motors first. So let's actually do that. By the way, this one has been around 15 minutes from the first one I did. And I think it's completely dry. I'm not sure actually. Let's see if I got fingerprints on it now. Is that a shadow? So maybe, yeah, I would say leave it for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I think is the best way to let this dry out. That's very good. So I'm very pleased with this. And we're going to put this guy to the side now. We should put him back upside down. Alright, so let's just grab a motor, and we're going to begin soldering this guy, and I'll be right back once that's done. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do is, this is going to be the beginning, this is going to be part one of this build, because these components need time to dry, and even the first one is still not super dry, so maybe about 2 hours. So what I'm going to do is we're going to end it here for the first part. The next part we will be installing these to the flight controller. And then the flight control would be the last thing we're going to coat. And then the next step would be the VTX to figure out the best way, because we might remove this shielding here, because I'm sure water can get in here. We're going to remove this shielding, see the best way to remove it, and then coat the inside as well, I believe, which is a smart thing. And also remove this connector and solder this, and possibly find another kind of connector here. What I'm planning on probably doing is putting like a dipolar, the inner part of a dipolar antenna, instead of this SMA. I just don't want any kind of connector in the whole setup, really. So I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible, and I think it's be the smart way to do it, really. I could be wrong. If you guys have any other opinions, let me know. Any suggestions, also let me know as well. So part 1 is done. Next up, we're gonna just have the motors installed and the flight controller. We'll solder in the flight controller, and we'll be doing this guy as well. So, and after that, we'll figure out what we're gonna do with the camera, because the cameras are a bit sketchy, because you can't really. Some people say that the water could seep in through the lens area here, but I do have a couple great ideas, which I will not say right now, and I do have a couple awesome ideas about this here also. So I'm not going to say anything just yet, but once we get here, it's going to be pretty awesome. Hopefully by tomorrow I should receive my DHL package of the clones, and you'll see a completely different camera, so we can do everything together, so it doesn't kind of ruin everything. So that's what I'm planning on doing. Even if I have to remove it from one of my other quads, I will do that for you guys. And yeah, well, that's getting clear for this video, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you guys have any questions or any suggestions, feel free to let me know, and go ahead and check out my links down there. Everything is down below, and if you can use them, to be super awesome, be super sweet, you'd really help the channel. I have more things that are be able to waterproof your quads that I'm trying to get in, and yeah, any help goes a long way. The VR007 mod's almost complete. I'll have that uploaded very soon. The Fat Shark mod on it, and yeah, well, that's it, guys. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. See you guys. Take care.